Krakowski here. I was just thinking about business and business owners and the masks that we wear, the versions of ourselves that we try to paint to look better to other people, how we try to paint ourselves in a more positive light in order to get business, how we are not always honest about stuff. And I meet people in business all the time where they tell me, "Oh yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing all the work. I'm doing all the things to grow my business. I'm doing all the activities. I'm going live every day. I'm building my business. I'm connecting with customers. I'm doing all this." And then I look and they're doing nothing. They're literally doing nothing, and they lied to me because they think that that's what I want to hear. They think that I want to hear all the good stuff that they're doing when they're actually doing absolutely nothing at all whatsoever. And I see this permeating in people. They're dishonest all the time in business just to make themselves look good to other people. They paint a false narrative about what they're doing and what they're accomplishing and all these things to look more positive and more trustworthy, to say what they think everybody wants to hear. They do this in their relationships too. They're a people pleaser. They'll say, "Oh yeah, that looks good on you," when it really doesn't. They're not honest with anybody that they meet. They say what they think other people want to hear. They're saying what they think other people want to hear, to think good things about them. It's a safety mechanism. It's a people pleasing mechanism. We got to cut it out, my friends. We got to cut out the people pleasing, lying, fabricating the truth to make ourselves look better to other people, to make people like us more. Trying to paint a false narrative of what's really going on in order to make people think more positive thoughts about us. And as a business owner, I truly believe that this is something that when you change this about yourself, when you change this about every part of your life, when you start being more honest about, "Hey, I'm struggling in this area. I need help in this area. I'm not doing so good in this area. I'm not doing so good with XYZ, and I need help with this thing." And you're not worried about looking bad to other people because you admitted that you're struggling. You're not worried about people judging you for not being at a certain level. People lie all the time about what level of success that they're at because they don't want to look insignificant. They don't want to feel insecure about not being at that level. They create a light and a version of themselves that they think other people want them to be liked by people. And then they wonder why they're repeating a pattern of failure, broken relationships, broken confidence, broken trust. Listen, I was somebody that was following these patterns for years myself because I was unwilling to admit to myself and other people of the areas that I was struggling with. Trying to always look good to everybody. Trying to always look positive and all that to everybody instead of admitting, "Hey, listen, I struggle with this. I struggled with mental health my whole life, and I used to pretend like I was a super positive person. I was actually a pretty negative person for so long, right?" And therapy really helped me with that and get honest with myself about, "Hey, listen, I didn't grow up in the best environment to be the happiest person in the world. That was a facade that I used to try to create for other people to believe. And now I'm okay with being honest about that. I was struggling in my business, keeping up with the Joneses mentality." That's exactly it. Trying to make yourself, paint yourself in this light so that other people like you more. It really bothers me when it's in business, though, and it's somebody that's coming to me for coaching. I think this is an interesting one. They come to me for coaching, and then they completely paint a complete lie about what they've been doing in their business because they think that's what I want to hear to make themselves look like they're more successful. Instead of just saying, "Hey, I'm struggling in this area. I need some help." When I go to a mentor, I lay it all out on the table and say, "Hey, listen, y'all, I am struggling like a mug, like crazy in this area, and I am not doing good. I need help. Listen, you're never going to get the help you need by lying and pretending like you got it all together in the areas that you want to grow in. You're not going to get to where you want to be by pretending like one thing's going on when smoke and mirrors another one's going on. You got to be honest and you got to be truthful. And this is a message, I think, for some of you, that this is going to connect with you and break you free from some of that. There's even some people that I have in mind specifically that I've done some coaching with, and that I'd love to see them break past this habit of creating false narratives to make themselves look good to everybody else around them because they think that's what other people want to hear in order to get results. I hear this often in people with sales. They think that they're going to sell more by saying what the customer wants to hear. It's literally not reality. That's not how the world works. People can tell when you're not being honest with them. And so you have to be authentic and willing to fail, willing to not always look the best, quote unquote, to everybody, willing to be vulnerable, willing to fall flat on your face and make a mess, and be honest about where you're at. Be honest about what's going on. Be honest about what's going on in your life. When we can do that, when we can be honest about where we're at, what we're struggling with, what we're dealing with, and then we find somebody who can help us get to the next level, they can be strategic and point out what to do. Listen, if I'm going to coach somebody based on a lie that they've told me because I'm fully believing them, the advice I'm going to give them isn't going to work. The advice I'm going to tell them isn't going to work because it's going to be based on a false scenario. Okay? Like that doesn't work. And then they complain that they didn't get results for whatever reason. We got to be honest with ourselves. We got to be honest with other people. We got to be honest. We can't let fear and worry and guilt and shame control us and make us do things in order to please other people. This is the people-pleasing trap. Is if I do X, Y, Z, then if I make other people happy, then if I say what they want to hear, then they'll like me. Then I'll get what I want. It's complete dishonesty. It's complete manipulation. It doesn't work, and it has no place in business especially. And so I want to encourage you, shift your mindset away from that. If you're trying to grow a business, if you're trying to get customers, if you're trying to create a life that maybe you've never lived up to this moment in time, get real about where you're struggling. Get real about what's holding you back. Get real about what hurts. Get real about how you've been hurt in the past, how things haven't worked out. Listen, I believe many of you have struggled in the past. You've fallen flat on your face, and you're afraid to rise back up again because of what happened when you fell down, and you don't want to repeat that pattern. I see that often with people in business. They're afraid to rise up strong because they're dealing with guilt and grief. It's a big part of it. There's a book by Brene Brown called Rising Strong. I read it twice the last 2 weeks, and it's really impacted me. And ultimately it boils down to we grieve the version of ourselves that we thought we would be when we failed. And so then we never go after it again until we deal with that grief, until we deal with that shame and that guilt. And then we can finally rise back up again, be tenacious, be powerful, be courageous, to do what we feared, to do what we were afraid to do. But it starts with honesty and authenticity with yourself and with other people. That's where it starts, my friends. Grow your life, everybody. I'm thankful for those of you that are receiving this message, those of you that are watching this. We'll talk soon. Have a good one.